What's up, my brother?
What's up?
How are you, bro?
Good, good.
Good to see you, man. How you been?
Good. Just came back from a trip like about 2 weeks ago.
I always see you traveling, bro. You're getting great use out of the info. That's for sure. I love it, man. I love it. Well, dude, thanks for taking the call. I appreciate it. Why don't you go ahead and just start by kind of introducing yourself a little bit?
Okay. So my name is Mario Alonso, and 4 years ago I joined credit class. When I first joined, I knew nothing about credit. My credit score was like in the low 700s. I think it was like a 704 when I first started. Um, I think the credit limits between the two cards that I had were like less than $5,000.
Yeah.
And I had never taken a trip. Um, I hadn't taken a trip in like a few years actually.
Okay.
And so I mainly joined credit class because I wanted to learn how to travel hack and to
Mm,
take as many trips as possible without having to pay anything at all because I saw your stories all the time,
yeah.
and I was just like, how is this guy doing it? How is he traveling like so often? And then when I finally learned the information, I was just like, oh my God, this makes so much sense. Like, why doesn't everyone know this? Like, why didn't my parents know this? Why didn't my friends know this?
Yeah.
And then from there, I was just like, I have to master this and teach other people so that way they can do the exact same things that I can do.
Wow. Wow. I love it, bro. And what made you take the risk, Like why did you decide to just jump on it? Did it seem like it was something that was obtainable?
Yeah, it seemed very obtainable and there was no risk involved. Like
Mm.
I think what I paid for the course was like $2,000
Uh-huh.
when it was like being offered, and $2,000 to travel for the rest of your life for free, no
Mm.
brainer.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. And were you able to accomplish everything you set out to do?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I just uploaded some stories today where I literally drove DoorDash for the first 4 months before I even bought credit class because I was saving up to buy the course. And so
Wow.
I
I
racked up like
love
four or
that.
five thousand dollars. And with
Uh-huh.
that $4 or $5,000, I ended up buying the course. And then
Yep.
I spent like a few months just learning the information, just downloading all the content. And then when I finally got it, then I was just like, okay, let me test it out. Let me go to New York City. That was my very first travel hack.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
then
Okay.
it's just been nonstop trips since then.
Yeah, tell me a little bit about the trips, bro. Like obviously you scaled up your credit. You can kind of tell me a little bit more about your credit stack and like what some of your biggest maybe sign up bonuses have been, or maybe the biggest hacks that you've been able to learn and then utilize in your own personal life.
Okay. So the way that I want to start this off is every single year that I've taken a trip, my trips have gotten better from the last year.
Mm.
So
Okay.
when I first got started, my first trip was to New York City, but I booked it the wrong way. I used the Chase travel portal instead of actually transferring the
Ooh,
points because
yeah.
I just kind of rushed through the information and I skipped some parts.
Okay.
So then after New York City, I went to uh, Puerto Rico, and
Okay.
this time I flew my mom and my dad out with me, and they were surprised because I had never taken them on a trip before. So they were just like, "How were you able to afford this?" And I told them credit card points. And so
Wow.
then that's where the light bulbs started going off in their heads because they were just like, "How is he able to do this if he's my son and we haven't even been able to take him on trips in a while?" So then they started getting curious, right?
Yeah.
So then later that year, I took another 4 trips. Uh,
Whoa.
yeah, I went to Cabo by myself.
Uh-huh.
Um, when I was at Cabo, I stayed at a nice, like, all-inclusive resort. Um, Paid nothing, and
Wow.
then from there, I think I also went to, I want to say Las Vegas. I went to that year.
Okay.
I also stayed at a resort, paid nothing. The resort, I think it was called the Aria Hotel.
Okay.
Um, and the resort, if I would have paid that out of pocket, it would have been like 2 grand. Because I stayed there for like about 4 or 5 nights, and
Wow.
I didn't pay anything, and I was able to bring my parents along with me so that way they can enjoy it.
Incredible, bro. Were you able to access any of the statuses at like rental cars or hotels or anything like that?
So that came later.
Okay.
So
Okay. You can go in order. My bad.
no, you're good. So after I took my parents on a few trips, then from there they started getting curious. They started wondering, okay, how is he taking so many trips? Like, did he suddenly get a promotion at his job or something?
Is
And
he
then,
selling drugs?
yeah, is he selling drugs? And so then from there, they started asking me, "Hey Mario, like, can you teach me this credit information that you know?" And since
Wow.
they're my parents, I was just like, "Yeah, absolutely. I'll go ahead and teach you everything that I know." And I passed that information on to them, and then I got them the right cards that they needed, so that way they could start racking up the points. My mom and my dad had credit cards open for years, uh,
Yeah.
for like 15, 20 years, but none of the credit cards earned them any points. They were all just like cashback cards or just like random cards that they got from stores.
Hmm.
So when I started teaching them about points, then they were blown away by it too, because they were just like, "Oh my God, like we've been wasting like all this time just like spending all this money on these useless cards when we could have been taking all these trips."
Yeah.
And so I educated them on that, and then I helped them apply for the cards, got them the right cards, and now a few years later they have their own set of points, own set of cards, and now they can take their own trips wherever they want.
Wow. You taught him how to fish, man.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Good stuff, bro. That's incredible. So not only was your live impacted, you also impacted, the lives around you, which is what you're supposed to do. So that's incredible. Talk to me about your highest cost savings, because I think people are like, oh yeah, he stayed at a little all inclusive, like cool, but like I'm pretty sure you're getting some crazy deals now, 3, 4 years into this.
Yep.
Talk to me about that.
I'm actually looking forward to my flight later this year to Dubai. When I first got started with credit class, that was always my number one destination that I wanted to go to. But
Mm,
when I still didn't have enough points to
yeah.
actually fly there. So my goal was always to fly on Emirates first class to Dubai
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
get like the champagne, get the caviar, because the flight itself is
Yep.
$16,000, and there's no way that I was going to be able to pay that. So
No.
instead, I was just like, okay, let me rack up a bunch of points, and then let me take like the best vacation of my life and post it all on social media so that way others can see. So
Yeah.
the flight to Dubai, $16,000. What I paid in points was 170,000 points to fly on Emirates first class. So
Wow.
170,000 points, that's equivalent to like about $1,700.
Yep.
So I paid $1,700 worth of points for a $16,000 flight.
Sheesh. That's like what? More than a 5X right there.
That's like a
Of
9x,
value.
almost a 10x.
9X. Incredible, bro. All right. So now you're at expert level.
Yep. But that's not
Amazing.
all, because I also
Okay.
travel hacked the flight back on
Oh,
Emirates
yeah.
business class.
Okay. Okay. Let's go. Another
So
10X redemption.
yeah. So overall, if I would have spent the money like on these flights, I would have paid
Yeah.
like over $20,000.
Oh my gosh, bro. Insane. $20,000 savings just from having sign up bonuses and strategically knowing how to redeem the points.
Hmm.
Crazy. Dude, talk to me about the money you've been making, because I see you helping people too. Like, have you kind of created your own business with the things you learned in credit class?
Yeah. So basically what I did was all the information that I've accumulated over the years from just like reading books, YouTube videos, learning from your course and the other courses that I bought.
Mm-hmm.
I have a really bad memory. So what I did was I just wrote it all the information like on a document. And
Okay.
then from there, I created my own blueprint. Now, this
Wow.
blueprint was only meant for me because
Yeah.
I never planned on really selling it. But
Uh-huh.
then when I went to your mastermind event last year, you told me that I should start sharing more content about credit, that I should start helping people, um, and see if I can monetize it. So I was just like, okay, bet. So what I ended up doing was I actually organized my notes and turned it into a step-by-step guide, so that way people who knew nothing about credit, they can start from chapter one, learn everything that they need to know about what credit is, then move on to chapter 2. If they need to fix their credit, then I can teach them credit repair.
Mm,
Then after that, chapter 3, I teach them about the points and miles, and then from there, I teach them how to travel hack.
incredible, bro. So you've acquired students in this business as well?
Yep.
Amazing, dude. Amazing. So you've probably at this point, you've definitely made back the 2K you spent on credit class.
Oh yeah, way more than 2K.
Let's go, bro. Well, dude, you created your own business. How much credit do you have now in credit lines available?
In personal or in business?
Both.
Okay, so let's see. Personal, last time I checked, it was like close to 150K. Um,
Wow.
in personal credit, I started off
Sheesh.
with 5K.
Wow. Okay, so in 4 years, you got 150K in
Yeah.
credit. That's insane. What about the business side? Are you working over there yet?
Yeah, so business credit right now I have like about I think it's like 28,000. We're
Okay.
still working on scaling that part up.
Yep.
Uh I still haven't had much use for the 0% credit cards, but I'm actually using them a lot more now. So I'm trying to get those limits up higher, and hopefully by the end of the year I'll have like over 50K in business credit.
Incredible, bro. Incredible. And dude, would you recommend the program to anyone watching this right now?
Oh, 100%. Like if
Amazing.
you are watching this and um take it from me, like I knew nothing about credit, like I had no money, probably like a lot of you who are watching this. um I that didn't stop me. Like even though I had no money for the course, like I still found ways to pay for the course. I did
Yeah.
DoorDash for 4 months and I made an extra 4 or 5K.
Mm. That's the thing, man. You wanted it bad enough and you figured out a way to do it. People have way more excuses, you know? It's just
Hmm.
like an abundance of excuses, but they don't just take action. So, bro, I appreciate the interview, man. It's been freaking awesome watching you. Mario also came to my in-person mastermind that I hosted last year. We got to meet. It was epic. And yeah, bro, you've also talk a little bit about the networking that you've done in credit class because I'm pretty sure you've met some incredible friends. You've, done business deals together. You've worked together. Talk a little bit about that as well.
Yeah, so last year I went to Colin's mastermind in Miami, and I wasn't even planning on going, to be honest. So when he dropped the mastermind deal, I was like on the fence about it because that was the most money that I'd ever spent in my life. I wasn't used to spending like 5K to go to an event for 2 days.
Yeah.
So it scared me.
Yeah.
But then I started messaging Colin and I asked him, if I go to this event, like how could I get like the most value out of it? And then he gave me some tips and told me, dude, like you should start messaging like all the people going to that event and make sure that they all know one person, you.
Mm,
So
mm. Yep.
I found a way to pay for the event. I ended up getting a 0% credit card and just put it all on the credit card, racked up some points. And
Yep.
then from there, I went straight to Miami. And literally, the first day that I flew in for the event, I flew into Miami airport and I was staying with 3 other guys in an Airbnb. Now, the first guy that I met at the airport, he does Airbnb. He has his own Airbnb course. His name is Aurelio. And so me and him, we shared an Uber ride to the Airbnb that we were staying at. And while we were on the Uber ride, we were just like sharing information with one another because I didn't know anything about Airbnb and he knew nothing about credit. So we were just
Mhm.
bouncing ideas off of one another. And then
Yeah.
when we got to the Airbnb, the other 2 guys that we were staying with, they also do Airbnb. So all of them just started talking about Airbnb. And then they looked to me and they were just like, what do you do? And then I told them, oh, well, I travel the world for free. And then they were just like, oh my God, like, how do you do that? And then I started sharing information with them and just whipped out my stack of cards that I had. And then they were just like, oh my God, like, we spent so much money on like our Airbnbs, like to furnish them and stuff. Like, how did we not know this? And then I was
Yeah.
just like, dude, like, I can show you real quick. And we ended up staying up until like 2 o'clock in the morning that night. And
Wow.
then the event was like, I think it started like at 7 o'clock, like the next day. So we all woke up super early and then we did our morning routine, woke up with the sun. And then from there, we went straight to the gym. And then that's where I finally got to meet you in person. We got a workout in. And
Yep.
then the event was amazing because not only did I make new friends, but I also got to help a lot more people. All
Mm.
the people that I met at the event, I had messaged beforehand and told them, "Hey, my name is Mario. I know about credit. Like I travel a bunch. If there's anything that I can help you out with, just DM me, let me know." So walking into that event, I already knew some of the people because I had DM'd them and I had
Ah,
already established that relationship with them.
yep.
So when I finally met them in person, they were just like, "Oh, you were the guy that messaged me, right?" And I was just like, "Yeah, my name's Mario." And then we just kind of hit it off because we already had like common interests.
Yep.
So some of these people, they had like their own businesses already going, and I just got their information. I just got their phone number, or I texted them, and we just started building that relationship up. And since then, I've been able to help some of them, and
Mm.
I've actually helped probably like 4 or 5 people from that event um,
Wow.
go ahead and take their own trips. So one of the guys that I
Incredible.
helped, his name was Jack.
Yep.
um, Jack messaged me like a few months later, and he told me that he wanted to fly to Thailand, and he wanted to fly from Miami to Thailand, but he just wasn't sure how to do it. He already had the points and he had the right credit cards. He just didn't know how to use them. So I was
Mm.
just like, okay, I'm your guy. So
Wow.
I
Incredible,
flew
bro.
him. I flew him on Qatar Q Suites.
Wow. That's like one of the best airlines too.
Yep. And the flight, it would have cost him like $10,000, and he paid, I think, less than $100.
Holy crap. Incredible, bro. So you got clients from the event, you got your money back, obviously, from what you paid,
Hmm.
and you've been able to help not only yourself, your family, but now a bunch of clients in your own credit business. So, dude, you did it, bro. I'm super pumped for you, man. It's always a pleasure hanging out and getting to talk with you and kind of seeing how you progress. Because every time we talk, you're always another level, another level, another level. So don't stop, brother, whatever you do. Thank you so much for coming on, man. And I look forward to seeing you inside credit class.
Thank you, Colin.
All right, my brother. Peace out.